Hi guys, and welcome back to the Geek Street, where the street speaks. My name is Sean, and I have my geek buddies over here. I need to find a new intro, but I'm trying lah. But say hello, guys.
Hi guys.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, apparently they're not enthusiastic as
No.
I am. Okay. Yeah. So because we are bringing you a review, okay, of Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay. So if any of you guys who haven't watched it yet in Malaysia, please go ahead and watch. It's already out on Disney Plus, Hotstar. Yeah, Disney Plus Hotstar. So go ahead and watch it before watching this. Spoiler alert, okay. But for those of you who are watching from outside of Malaysia, okay, I don't know. Yeah, I think only Malaysia did not have it screened in cinemas. I think the rest of the world did. So as usual, I don't know what's wrong with our what do you call censoring board?
Censorship board.
Censorship board.
Yeah.
Censoring board. Okay, censorship board. Right. So that's our life. All right. So
John,
please.
I think what you should say, spoiler alert for who haven't watched Thor: Love and Thunder, so you go watch and come back, and who have watch, and who don't even bother watching Thor: Love and Thunder, you can still watch this also.
Yeah, I think it's much more shorter and much more straight to the point, right? So as you know that for those of you who have watched, maybe you guys have some things that you guys are thinking in your head like, what the hell is this? Or what's happening? Or did I sign up for Saturday Night Live or a Marvel movie? So we are here to give you the answers for that. Yes, it is it is a Marvel movie, but I don't know what happened. I think if we have the chance, we'll get Taika Waititi here to explain to us what he did in Thor: Love and Thunder. All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we won't do too much of an intro because we will get straight into the ranting, right? So this is Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay, so Thor: Love and Thunder, right? So let's just get into it, lah. Let's not waste any time and let's not beat around the bush like how the movie did. So yeah, so I'll just get your reactions, right? You guys can, just review on the story, review on the characters, review whether the movie is even relevant to the whole. Like now, what we know is the multiverse saga. Of course, when Thor: Love and Thunder came out, the multiverse saga. I mean, the word did not really wasn't there because that was announced in Comic Con that the whole Phase 4, 5, and 6 is the multiverse saga. So yeah, so at that point in time, people watched, they didn't really don't know where to fit that movie in. So you guys can just comment and review basically on that, right? So I'll go with Eric first, and yeah, take it away, Eric.
Why you go with me first?
I don't know. Is this random?
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just watched it yesterday, and I think I told you guys that I actually slept off 3 times while sitting on this chair and watching. And I fast forwarded a few scenes, especially the draggy, long talking ones. The story had so much potential to be good, even with the actors and characters. They had so much potential, but they just flopped it. I don't know why. They just flopped it. Every scene was like a joke. Every scene was like, you can see they're not really acting, And then they want to overdo Thor's pain, and then Thor's what's that, speeches like he's some president and that. I don't know lah. I think they messed up real bad. But one thing I like is that they really make up for Mighty Thor. I think they really showed how her effects can be, her strength can be. And then I think Harvin also mentioned that the God Butcher, Gore, his name, right? Gore, right? He was so scary at first. With how he looked, how the CGI was, he was so scary, so sick. I think it was like giving the Nun vibes, But then after that, they messed it up with how his voice. I think his voice just didn't numb the scariness, and he wasn't that angry. I feel like the anger, the rage is not enough for him to just go and kill all gods. I think he needs more more anger and rage. And then I don't see how it connects to Multiverse Saga, to be honest, at all, except for the Bifrost, which other than that I don't see how, because I think they showed that the Bifrost is a big element here in terms of being a key. And last time we used to know that Bifrost actually is from Asgard, so I'm kind of like still skeptical how they can summon the Bifrost anywhere now, but doesn't matter. I think the Bifrost is the only link to the Multiverse Saga. That's for me. If I were to rate this movie, I'll rate 5 out of 10. That's it, hands down. It's one of the worst Marvel movies I watched.
5 is being very generous.
Yeah, I'm generous because I still feel that Gore and Mighty Thor was still decent enough. Like, I think the fighting scenes, how she took her Mjolnir and broke into pieces and came back, I think there were 6 scenes lah. There were 6 scenes, but other than that, it was just like, But I do want to search who's the cast of Zeus, all the girls though. They were all damn hot, yeah. I was like, who is all that? But anyways, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, Arvind.
Okay. For me as a Marvel fan, it's just bad, very very bad. I would say this is actually, rather than being a Marvel movie, it's actually a Disney adventure movie. Like you see these kids, like the screenplay, even the characterization was bad. Like if how we complain about Miss Marvel saying that the screenplay, the screenplay moving forward, the storyline and screenplay was bad, but I still appreciated the characterization, at least because they played well according to their characters. This was bad, was really really bad. Thor, they did Thor dirty, like you see him being sad, sad for all the past that happened and stuff. And yeah, I get people who's handling with sadness, they tend to laugh and move on with their thing, but they just turn this into something else, and even Mighty Thor, Natalie Portman, they didn't do justice to that. And the worst of all, God the God Butcher, with such a great actor, the screen time for God the God Butcher was so less. All he did was got the sword, went to kidnap some couple of kids waiting to get the Stormbreaker to go see eternity. That is all. God the God Butcher is supposed to be showing him killing gods. All you saw was inside Star-Lord's the screen and see, oh, some gods die, some of them died. That is all we see. I was so sad to see such waste of talent with Christian Bale's character, then Valkyrie Cock and stuff. They just did so much of comedy and joke, which it is not necessary at all. Like I think when we just had a small chat the other day also, he just said that as a comedy movie, as a normal comedy movie, you can watch. Besides that, not as a Marvel movie, not as a superhero movie moving forward with the MCU and stuff. Nothing is bad. And you're showing one more thing, you're showing omnipotentity, right? In the comics where you see all the gods there, and you see some of it is just, I don't get it, like what the Bow what is that? I don't even know what is that. What nonsense. How are you having god of these things? Is so weird,
It's a dumpling god, I think.
Dumpling, it's so weird. Of course we've seen weird with James Gunn. There's weird things out there, but not as weird as this. Like you're putting God, all powerful God, Zeus and stuff, and Zeus, like I said, they made the whole thing as a joke. At least show Zeus being someone raging and powerful. Everything, every single, none of them are serious. None of the character is serious. All of them are a joke. They turn every single one. So the movie is a joke, literally. And if you want me to rate the movie, I would give it a 2 out of 10. And it's the worst Marvel movie that I've watched.
Okay. I just want to drop my rating to 3.
Because one of my least favorite Marvel movie was Captain Marvel, and this went down beyond, and I was so very happy because I was not a fan of the first two Thor movies. Okay, and Ragnarok was the one which made me fell in love with the Thor's character again and stuff, with all the storyline, what they can move forward with. But this was just, it just went down. The whole thing just went down. So I would say, and of course, talking about the connective dot with the multiverse saga, I mentioned earlier that it will not be a connective dot to multiverse saga because that when the teaser came out, when the trailer came out, when I watched it, I saw it was dwelling more with gods, and I knew that it was not going to multiverse because multiverse dwells different with with Kang and stuff. I knew it was not going there, and I knew this was just in its own bubble, but it will of course it will be another connecting dot to upcoming Marvel movies soon somewhere, because gods, it does play a role in the Marvel movies, but besides that, the movie was just a joke. Seriously, that's all I could say.
Yeah, I just draw my rating to 3 because I realized what you said was true about Gore. He is the god butcher and we never see him butchering other gods. So I think the whole movie got butchered too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I also agree with you. I mean, I think it's a wasted opportunity for Marvel to do something with it, and especially we'll come to that later. But having a character like Mighty Thor, I think they sort of wasted the whole character just for I don't know, maybe just for fanfare or just for um, just to probably just because the plot of the movie or something like that. But I think it's just a wasted opportunity with that, and there's many things that they could have done that they didn't do, including Gore, right, to portray his character because he's only going to come once, and then you're not going to see him again, and things like that. So there's many things that they could have done better, and they should have done better. But then again, yeah. So it's a wasted opportunity, I would say.
What's interesting is that they still made profit.
But they made profit
3 times the
because
profit.
people thought that it would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because of the wave that's riding off things like Ragnarok. I think Ragnarok was one of the best Marvel movies, I think.
Yes.
In terms of story, it took us on a journey like from happy to sad, and then to meh, things like that. Because at the end it wasn't even a happy ending, right? So yeah, I think yeah, I think after this people will be more wary in terms of how a Marvel, but then not every Marvel movie is going to be like this, because there are different directors and there are different screenplay writers and things like that. So maybe because of what happened, the pandemic, they had to rush, change scenes, things like that. Maybe it could have been a reason as well. They just needed to get the movie out there to explain certain important things, like we'll get to later, that would affect the multiverse saga, right? So maybe that's the reason also. So I could look at it both ways, but at the end it's very sad, like. But lucky we don't have to directly pay for it to watch. We, of course, we are paying on subscription on DinesyPlus Hotstar, but yeah, it was terrible. Okay, yeah. So we also, as you guys know, there's actually 4 hours in Geek Street. You hardly see the 4 hours together. But yeah, so we will have Jazz to say his bit because he's not here. So he's recorded it separately, and so we'll just insert. So Jazz, you can have your say.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Jazz. I'm pretty sure you guys are missing me because I'm not in the recording for Thor Love and Thunder. But the boys are still nice enough to actually give me a little small segment of mine to give my take on Thor Love and Thunder. I wouldn't really say my take, but I would say sort of like a little bit of a rant. But yeah, I think Thor Love and Thunder it was actually great. It actually filled in a lot of scenes where it follows the comic. So, for example, like Jane being Lady Thor and her fighting with cancer, and even the two goats that actually drags the boat with the rainbow bridge. I mean, that depicts sort of an accurate depiction of Norse mythology of how Thor used to travel. So I think those kind of aspects of things are really great. Even the fact that they actually showed eternity and how eternity sort of looked like what we expected him to look like. But at the same time, I think they made this movie a little too comical. I would say. I understand that Marvel sort of figured out the right recipe that I would say DC couldn't figure out when it comes to live action film. That is to put a little bit of funny elements inside so that everyone can actually enjoy the movie. But I think Taika Waititi sort of took it a little too far. That they made everything about it a comedy. So, I mean, if it's a comedy movie by itself, it would have been fine. But this is a Marvel movie, and everything was comical that we couldn't really grasp the seriousness of certain aspects. I think Christian Bale did a really, really good job as God, the God Butcher, with his portrayal of the character. But I think because the movie was too comical, it didn't really do any justice for his portrayal as the character. I think even the part at the Shadow Realm, it was supposed to be like a serious thing, right? Gore actually encountering Thor, Valkyrie, and Jane Foster. But even at that part, Thor had to make a joke about Gorm going and looking for a dentist or something. So it just kind of like throws off the vibe of that certain scene. But yeah, like I mentioned, the comic aspect, it's funny. It's pretty funny, especially with Stormbreaker giving attitude and everything. But yeah, it sort of felt like a Saturday Night Live episode. The way they acted. If you say that it's a Saturday Night Live parody of Thor: Love and Thunder, it would have made a lot of sense. And I think Thor: Love and Thunder could have been a 6-part series, and I would have been fine with it. I think Loki could have been a better live action movie, blockbuster movie compared to Thor: Love and Thunder. But yeah, there's actually a lot that I want to rant, but then I'm recording this alone, so I don't have the voice to rant with. But I hope you guys still enjoyed the movie, and hopefully that some of this actually leads on to somewhere. I mean, I was very excited when they actually showed Eternity, because Eternity is the embodiment of the entire MCU. All of the multiverses are within Eternity, so it's amazing to actually see us breaking through that barrier and actually going to that part. I mean, of course, we have the TVA, and the TVA sort of broke down all reality and made us realize that which is the higher power now. Is the TVA the higher power, since it knows every aspect of past, present, and future, or is Eternity the bigger being? But it's going to be fun to actually see Eternity being involved, and hoping to see how this would lead to Avengers Secret Wars. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the movie. For me, I feel like I didn't really enjoy it that much. um, and the whole fact that we had to wait for a few months for ever since the movie released, because in Malaysia we couldn't get to watch, and building that hype up for ourselves and to finally watch it. And it's like Saturday Night Live show and everything. But hopefully Marvel will get all of this feedback, and they would do it better next time. And hopefully we could see more involvement with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is there, but I wish that I could have seen more involvement of them in this movie, but we didn't. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think about it, and hopefully this will lead us somewhere into the future multiverse saga. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you so much. Peace out.
Okay, thank you very much, Jess, for your words. We will continue to pray for you. Okay. Okay. All right. So, moving on, the whole plot. Of course, we went. I mean, we gave our thoughts on it, but we also need to mention things that happen in the movie. So it starts off with, of course, with the Guardians, because that is where in Avengers Endgame it sort of left off. And then when they become S Guardians, right? So then So we know. So of course, the question was, okay, what would they have been doing? What, where could they have gone? Things like that. So in this movie, they answer, of course, some bits of it. I think the rest of it could be answered in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4. So they of course travel to worlds together. They try to save other worlds, and things like basically being guardians, lah, right? That's what they were doing. Of course, with the
Just
help of Thor.
the timeline is basically 3 years after Avengers Endgame. So if that's the case, I think the year would be 20. Endgame was 2023, is it?
28,
2023, I think.
no, 2020, 2026, sorry.
Really?
It's 2023 at Endgame. After
So
5
now
years.
talk of 2026, right?
So it's
Okay.
2026, right? So, yeah. So that would be, so they were out for 3 years. I mean, they were together for 3 years, and then even, yeah, like what you said, I think the comedy essence in this movie would have much suited if it just stuck with the Guardians, and then
Yeah.
it became serious after that. You know what I mean? Because I think for Thor to even fit in with the Guardians, I think that he needs to have some sort of comedic elements to him. Okay, the movie started off great. I mean, I felt like, yeah, it was very light hearted. It was very easygoing. There were a lot of jokes, things like that. Because why we associate this sort of activities with the Guardians, because they tend to mess things up a little here and there, and make a comedy out of situations. So it was natural in that instance. But the sad part for me is that the thing continued with Thor throughout the entire movie. So that was we don't see the mighty Thor. We see like the comical Thor. So that was the one that was pretty sad. Even like you guys, then even, yeah, going to Gore's character, we saw him in the beginning. It started off like he was very serious, he had some sort of vengeance, but then we don't see it physically. You hear it in his words. You see it when he's trying to speak with Thor and tell him what he's doing, but then you don't see it physically. You don't see that, like, you slashing off a god's head, stabbing a god in the heart. You don't see all that things, so that we don't find that vengeful god that we know that is from the comics. Of course, they try to play with these light elements, right? That means, like, when he's in the shadow realm, they sort of play with that. But for me, I find it was very, how to say, it was like all over the place. Like, it didn't really engage us. Even with the visuals wasn't very engaging, right? So yeah, I think it was so what do you think about like the visuals itself in the movie?
No, that's the thing. The reason why I gave 2 out of 10 is because of the visual. The visual was okay. The visual was good. Okay,
Yeah.
but besides that, that's the thing. So I mean, like I said, there's a lot of things. Of course, I have credit to CGI because Omnipotent City is not easy to make out. Is the whole thing CGI of that, and then with the place of where eternity was. I mean, like the whole CG thing was okay, but there was this one particular thing, the CG was damn bad, when everyone was just so furious the fact that why is Marvel this is what they're capable of, like from what like the projection of Axel when he comes to talk to Thor, like the kid, right? The thing is, we are actually getting a more polished version of it in Disney Plus. When in the theatrical release, the version was even worse. It was so worse that it looked like a CGI which a new intern would do. It was that bad. You can see the comparison. You can just go online and see the comparisons are that bad. We are actually seeing a polished version of it in Disney Plus. It's so that bad. So for me, with all the CGI, the graphic and the things was okay, except for that particular part was bad. Yeah.
So yeah, and then we, of course, like what we said. So Jane's story, Jane Foster's story, it didn't really make sense to me. It didn't really because, okay, so in the movie she is dying of cancer. Okay, how they fitted the story that she had cancer was because it was hereditary, right? And then she's dying. She's stage 4. Although she doesn't look like she's exactly stage 4 in that part of the movie, but yeah, so she has stage 4 cancer, and then she sort of hears a calling from Mjolnir, and then she goes to New Asgard. She sees, and then she becomes Mighty Thor. Actually, they did shoot the scene of her becoming Mighty Thor, but they sort of took it out in post, maybe because I don't. In the movie is only like 1 hour 59 minutes after editing, so I don't know why even that. I think that would have taken like easily 2-3 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they would have taken that out of the movie because I mean, if they really want to show Mighty Thor, I think they should go the full length, rather than just seeing that Mjolnir sort of like with the clouds and then the thunder, and then you just cut from there, and then next thing you see she's fighting, so it was a really like I said, like it's a missed opportunity to actually pay tribute to a character that is, of course, in the comics is not a very huge. Mighty Thor is not a huge character, but they could have done something, in sort of I mean, real world or the cinematic version of Mighty Thor. So yeah,
No, the thing about Jane Foster is the fact that I was very happy to see Natalie Portman back as Jane Foster, and she would be playing Mighty Thor when they.
I don't think so. Anyone else would have played Jane Foster, right?
No, yeah. I mean, but she's coming back to play Jane Foster as Mighty Thor, and coming back after the break from Ragnarok and stuff. So I was really excited what they could do, because in the comic storyline there are a few amazing storylines of her being, and of course it's comic accurate that she has cancer and stuff. But then for me, when I think about it, regardless if she's there or not, it does not make a difference in the story. Because she's there, she got the Mjolnir, and then she's traveling with Thor the whole time. The only thing was they just reconnected and became lovers again.
Yeah. No, it felt to me that the Mighty Thor character was there, like to add extra conversations with Thor.
Yeah, extra conversation and what fanfare moments and stuff like you see this. It should be amazing. Like there's a reason why she should have been introduced, right? Like Gore and something. There should be a reason. The reason is so. I know it's not impactful. Like, okay, she has cancer. She comes. She got the Mjolnir. She becomes the Mighty Thor. And she's just traveling with Thor because there is an incident going on. And at the end, she dies. I mean, then she goes to Valhalla and stuff. So
no, she becomes Mighty Thor, by the end she dies.
I mean, that's the thing. You see, I don't know why they brought her and they killed her and then they brought her Valhalla. But of course, in the comics, it's the same. Like, when you use it does take a toll on you. Her, when she's in the comics. So I don't see any reason for her to being more further due. And of course, they already mentioned that she's already stage 4 and stuff, right? So I don't know how. Of course, they maybe at the ending of Eternity, they could have played around with the story a bit. Maybe Eternity giving her the powers instead. Some other ways, some other ways to work around the story. But then, it's of course sad. You bring a character and then it dies off, and then she goes to Valhalla. But of course, we got to know that Valhalla is actually another dimension, just like how we got to know from Moon Knight that the Duat when what's his name again? Okay, just Moon Knight when he goes to the like so-called heaven or hell, would it be called? Is actually another alternate dimension. But your presence goes there, your soul presence goes there. So her soul presence goes there. So if anyone who has actually amazing powers or so powerful, they can actually enter that dimension. They actually physically enter Valhalla and see this Mighty Thor and Heimdall and stuff like that. So you just need to be powerful in that way. But coming back to Mighty Thor, I think it was, like I said, regardless if she's there or not, it doesn't affect anything at all.
Okay. So then, so that's about Jane Foster's story, Natalie Portman. So, and then we also see in terms of, okay, so it's Gore, the god butcher. So we see gods who didn't get butchered. There's still so many gods still alive. So I think he didn't serve his purpose at the end of the day. Uh, where they changed the story towards the end, where he sort of repented, and then made him look like as though he's some whimsy fellow. So yeah, so we have like a lot of gods that was portrayed in the movie itself that didn't get killed. We have this city which is called Omnipotent City, so it's taken directly from the comics. So we see Zeus, of course, played by Russell Crowe. And I think he did a phenomenal job on the character. For me, I feel like he did a portrayal that is somewhat like, yeah, I mean, he's portraying a character that doesn't care, right? So that gods are getting butchered, things like that. That he thinks he's a hell of a great, he's so mighty, things like that. So I think in that sense, he of course did play the character well. Of course, how the character is written, then of course it's not his fault, lah. But how he played the character, I think was good. So we also see other gods there in Omnipotent City. So we see, of course, like what Harvin said earlier, Bao, which is the dumpling god.
I don't think it's dumpling lah. I think it's Pao. Either
No,
Pao
no,
or
no.
Mochi.
His name is Bao, but he's the god of dumplings.
Yeah, it says dumpling. Yeah, correct.
He's a god of dumplings. So he was like, "Hey!" So that's the only thing he did. And then we see like a Cronan god. And then we, of course, this is not. I don't know how confirmed this is, but this is like sort of told by the actress that played this character. So we have Bast, who was sitting right below. So I mean, it could be true 100%, but it was not credited. So I don't know how far it is true, but the actress that portrayed Bast in Omnipotent City said that she was Bast. And then we have, of course, if you don't know, Bast is the Black Panther god, right? So that is the god that they worship and they pray to, where they draw strength from. So that's the god that they draw strength from, in terms of Black Panther and Wakanda. And then we of course have Minerva, who is a Roman goddess, who's also there. And then we have Artemis, who's a Greek deity. And then we have LK goddess, which is listed. She's listed in the credits, so it's a lady of LK, things like that. And then we have a serpent god there, and then we have the goddess of death, or goddess of the dead. Sorry. And then we have a Jade Murai god. I don't know why I call it Jade Murai. Like samurai, like Jade Murai. Sounds very Indian though. Okay. And then we have the fur god, which is like looks like a hobbit to me. Yeah, of course, it was played by Stephen Hunter, who played a character in the Hobbits. So yeah. So these are the gods that was there and things like that. So yeah, I mean, if you're talking about God, you should show more gods and show a diverse. Not just like sitting there and you're like, oh, hey, this kind of thing. That's not gods lah, So I don't know why. Maybe they had more scenes, but they had to cut it out at the end of the day. So
you know what would be interesting? They should have made Gore came to Omnipotent doing this whole scene and killing a couple of gods. That would have been amazing.
I mean, there's so many ways they could have played it out lah.
Yeah,
They just messed up everything in such a bad way. Like the whole gathering between the gods in the city also should have been something. Okay, fine. It's pretty normal for gods to have orgies or whatever the hell they want. It's normal. But it should have been a serious discussion. Like what Sean said lah. When gods meet, it's supposed to be something, at least some element of seriousness, or at least some discussion, instead of Zeus just reigning and showing his show and everybody just clapping their hands and woo woo. I think that one was just messed up lah.
I mean, yeah, correct. Like how Sean said, like, okay, if you're going to characterize like a person who doesn't care and you're going to be like this, yeah, you can be the character who does not care, but be serious about it. We don't care about this matter because so many other pressing matters to take care of and such things. But be serious about it, And he's coming in his little skirt and like flipping it and walking. I'm like, what, man?
Yeah, and even when Thor asked Zeus whether can borrow his lightning, and Zeus just took 1 minute to throw it around like some circus clown. 1 minute, throw, and then Like no. Like okay, I get it. You're throwing is cool, but why waste that 1 minute? Like, what for? Even the opening entrance is always like so long. That itself was so long already. Like they just wasted that chance. Like I think in the beginning we all said the movie had so much potential, but it just messed it up real bad.
Omnipotentity, like you see, okay, we see glances of God, but this is the place where you can see show actual scenes of the gods which we play out later on in the movies, you know, at least something. But no, they show omnipotence so huge, but the opportunity just wasted in just those Zeus and glances of unnecessary gods, which does not play a thing. Like whatever Sean said, gave the list earlier, you know, should have portrayed some other important gods which will carry forward the story of the MCU stuff, at least something, but none of that.
We did see some celestials though, so that was like nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. The
I
thing
think we
is,
saw three or two.
I think I saw two was popping out their head. I think.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they are not gods. Celestial are not gods, and the reason why they are there, because of course the whole thing is gathering about gods. The reason why they are there because they are one of the most powerful beings in the universe, so they can be there, you know, that kind of thing. But they're not gods, definitely.
Celestials are mainly above gods, lah. You know, because they are sort of like part of the singularity. You know, so they have all these things you will talk about later, lah. It's not related to this movie, but yeah.
No, but
so
it's just nice to see them there, lah. Because
yeah.
It's the second time we seeing them.
Yeah.
Second time, yeah.
No, a few times because a few glances was during Guardians introduced. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so moving on, the whole point of the movie was to we found out that from Zeus is that God's mission is to get to eternity so that he can. So this whole thing about eternity, right? So in the Marvel comics, eternity is sort of like encompasses the entire universe, right? So it is so whoever that reaches there is granted a wish. Right, I think Thanos could have done that. Like, if he wanted to wipe out half of human race, he could have done that and not hurt himself. You know,
No, you can't. I mean, I watched several videos of why Thanos didn't do that, because you need the Stormbreaker to do that.
Yeah, you need the path, lah.
Yeah, the Stormbreaker, and not everyone knew that you can go to meet eternity with using the Bifrost, except for the gods in omnipotentity. Only they. Yeah. So yeah.
So we do see eternity in its original comic form. You know, where it is a shape of a person. You know, but then you see like galaxies and stars. You know, and solar systems inside there. So it's quite a accurate representation of eternity. So he goes and sees. So the only reason why I could see that they come up with this sort of plot point is because eternity is somehow linked to Secret Wars. Okay, because in the comics, the eternity of Earth 616, right? Was eventually annihilated by the Beyonders. So in the Secret War storyline is that the eternity. So in every universe you have the eternity. So it was actually destroyed by the Beyonders. And then when that's when these incursions started to happen between universes, right? So that's the only sort of reason I think that they would have introduced eternity in Thor: Love and Thunder. So for me, then going back and thinking, like, the whole point of the movie was to link something that would, link it to Secret Wars. Just you do a 2-hour movie, but then just one small thing, that's what we want. The rest of it, you do whatever else you want, So that's how it starts.
I think you're obsessed with Secret Wars, like Sean. Like, almost every breakdown or every theory you link up to Secret Wars. Let's not forget there's one very, very good series that they can link to. What if?
What if? Yeah, sorry. I forgot about what if.
yeah. So we have to watch it there already. It's already a link there. This eternity is going to be the next step for what if. For me, that is the theory lah. Like what Sean said, for you to spend 10 seconds to link to a huge movie, it's kind of waste. But if you spend that 10 seconds just to lay your foundation for a second season, I think that would make more sense. I think that's where
But they could use it in of course in What If, and I think but this is comic related lah. So hence we know Marvel tends to follow when they follow. Of course they don't take the entire plot, but they sort of take the overview of the story. Like okay, when we start here, this is where we end. In between we do whatever we want, right? So I think that is what, because this is comic related, so that's why I mentioned it lah. Rather than just bullshitting my way through. It's comic related, okay?
I know it's comic related, but I feel like every time I hear you link things with
No, I mean, what if anything can happen? It's what if,
Yeah.
So it's not like a set thing. Anything can happen, and you can come up with whatever story you want to. But then again, I feel because since they announced Secret Wars and they announced a multiverse saga, so hence this also could make some sense, but we never know like exactly whether that's what is going to happen. I'm sure there's going to be some reference or thing, when they don't show it on screen, there could be some reference or things like that, because the part of the Beyonders is very important in Secret Wars. So hence whatever that they do will impact storylines. So hence this is one of it, right? So that is like sort of the whole plot line of, in terms of why eternity is there, and whatever link that they want to do, however they want to plot the story. So so basically that is the whole movie. Basically this 1, 2 or 3 very important things, and other than that, everything else is rubbish. So I don't know whether Taika Waititi is coming back for another. I think there's going to be another Thor movie, but I don't know whether it's going to be in this next 2 phases, or it could be beyond that. But there's not been any announcement as to when, but there are rumors that there's going to be another Thor movie.
This the amazing thing about Thor. The thing is about Thor is he's a cosmic character. His particularly stories in the comics, or when he relates back to the MCU moving forward, the whole MCU timeline moving forward and everything, his character and storylines can bring towards for 5 or 7 movies of Thor. That is how great his character is. So that is why Thor 5. I mean, if you want me to lay on a possibility of Thor 5, you want me to happen, yes, it would, because in the comics he's such a great character, and in the moving forward with the because if you notice with the other characters which they introduced so far or upcoming so far, the only one relevantly close to that cosmic being in a level, I would say Eternals. Besides that, I don't see it. And in the comics, Thor can move with his stories, can move forward even more. And of course, there's some teasers within the movie, of course, that will be the foundation for the next one. Of course, I am prepared for the next one, but it has to be a different, totally like a refurbished version of the story moving forward. It cannot be this creative thought of having this.
Isn't Miss Marvel cosmic also?
Cosmic in a sense,
but she's not godlike lah.
Yeah, it's cosmic within the, what do you call that, the interdimensional thing within the thing. This god cosmic, his story, he went beyond that. I mean, in the comics he became Rune King Thor. He met death, he met eternity, he met all the biggest cosmic beings in the comics, so he is such a big character moving forward. So hopefully they do something about it. Do justice. Yep.
Okay, so then after the whole thing, we find out that it's going to actually the name Love and Thunder is actually because of God's daughter, who actually comes back to life, or reincarnated, and then she becomes a sort of like a superhero with the name Love. So hence then there is what they call so maybe the next plot points will definitely take it from there, between the both of them, and maybe Love could be part of Young Avengers. Maybe we never know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Important thing to note is that yes, it is okay. We just call her Love, so her name is Love, right? So yes, she is reincarnated, but she has the essence of eternity. Because if you notice that the scene when she's coming towards Gore, you can see in the reflection in the water is an eternity light. And then when she's having an argument with Thor, her eyes burst out. You can see the galaxies whirling all over inside her eyes. One more thing to notice, the fact that it's not easy to wield Stormbreaker and stuff, all that kind of things, because Gore, he comes from just a normal alien being in one of the universe, just a normal alien being, that kind of thing. So he just got the powers through the Necro Sword. And so she's just a normal being, but now she's powerful because she has the essence of eternity. So it will definitely play a role, because you see her raging and stuff, all right. So moving forward, she will definitely play a role, storyline to move forward with.
Okay, so then we have a mid-credit scene in the movie. Okay, so this is also a future plot point for Thor, and how to introduce more characters as we head towards Secret Wars, which will be the final big battle in these three phases. So we have Zeus, who survived that thing from Thor, and he was like he said these lines like they will fear us again when they see Thor Odinson fall from the sky. Like he's having this sort of grudge against Thor, and he's having this hatred and things like that. And then he goes on to say, "Do you understand me, Hercules? Do you understand me, my son?" And then we see Hercules, who's of course played by Brad Goldstein. So now there is a Hercules introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So Hercules' history in the Marvel comics is that he's always been Thor's friend, right? And then he's also been whenever that he did join the Avengers in some storylines and things like that. But most of the time, when they used to write stories of Hercules, they write it on his own, and then he comes and joins them. So that is how Hercules has been written his whole history. So basically, he's Thor's friend. So I don't know how they're going to. Maybe he will be his enemy, and then he'll be his friend later, and then he'll join, being like an extended version of the Avengers or something like that, So
yeah, but I think of course it's credited to that. I think it's amazing to see Hercules finally, because Hercules being in the MCU has been a long running theory. People have been wanting to see Hercules, but we finally get to see Hercules. But of course, in the comics, yes, he will eventually. So I think it will play out like you fight and then you become friends and stuff. That is for later on. But this particular line is very important for what Zeus said, that people have not been worshipping us anymore. So that they're worshipping heroes, so they need to fear us again, and stuff. So that line is important, because I think that particular line, that particular thing is another plot line for another story. But I don't think this has got nothing to do with Secret Wars, because God's is nothing got to do with Secret Wars. Is another storyline, and I think we know for a fact that in Phase 6 that there are few empty spots, right? And my theory is that there will be one movie. One of it is going to be like a mini Avengers movie, just like how Civil War was. So it's a movie with Thor, but several characters will be there involving this particular.
You can say like a live action What If lah, but except it's a story lah.
Yes, a story, maybe, that kind of thing, possible, because it's still a long way off and stuff. So maybe there's a base to it, right? So maybe not. So let's see how that goes.
So also, speaking about Hercules, is that so Hercules was first introduced in the Marvel comics as one of the henchmen for Immortus. But then later on, when they rewrite the whole character, they said, "Oh no, he's an imposter, or he's not the real Hercules." So so introducing Hercules also, they're paving the path towards Kang Dynasty, because we know in Kang Dynasty it's going to be many variants of Kang, and Immortus is one of the Kangs that is relevant, right? So hence, introducing Hercules could also set up where Kang starts to round up all these people who probably hate the Avengers, things like that, and then have a storyline there. So yeah, that is So yeah, so this is quite cool, but of course, happy having Hercules in the cinematic universe. It's a breath of fresh air, like new characters, new way of telling stories.
Yeah, one more thing also, I think one more thing you need to say. I think this was from Moon Knight, if I'm not mistaken. Why that particular sentence Zeus said is very important because it said that when you worship the god, then it becomes stronger. If you don't worship, the god does not become stronger. So hence that's why Zeus said that they have to fear us in so that they worship them again, so they become stronger. If not, they have no value. Those kind of things.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the mid credit scene, and then in the post credit scene we have Jane Foster in Valhalla and being greeted by Idris Elba, who is what's his name again?
Heimdall.
Heimdall.
What's that?
Heimdall.
Yeah, Heimdall. I did this the last podcast as well. So yeah, Heimdall. Okay, so but Idris Elba, I think just for a short scene, bring him back, and what's the point? I also don't understand in that.
I think Heimdall is fine. I think that's okay. Like it's just a normal, just to show Valhalla. So I think that's okay.
Nothing to complain.
Yeah, nothing to complain that one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, but a lot of people are talking about resurrection, things like that. The theories out there. That whoever that's in the afterlife. Say, for example, in this series Moon Knight, right? We see that the character dies and then is resurrected again. So they speak about this thing, resurrection, when you are in the afterlife, that you are able to be resurrected, things like that. So we don't know how far Mao's going to tap into that. But these are just rumors and theories going around. So hence they showed that particular scene in case they want to reuse it back later or something. So but other than that, it does not have any sort of like there's no projection or any sort of things that we can predict from that lah.
I think it's just a safety net lah. Like keep it there.
Yeah.
We want to use, we use. We don't want to use.
Yeah.
There's a lot of post-credit scenes that we get like that. It's just a safety net. And then after like years later, then they bring back like what Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
That was like so long ago. Then suddenly like it's time.
That was back in like what 2015 or 2014.
And 70.
After 6-7 years, not 6-7 years, but next year, right? So so many years.
Then they were like, you know what? We have this card. Let's use it. And they're like, yeah, let's use it. And so this Valhalla option is still there with Natalie Portman and Heimdall. Who else is in Valhalla? I think Odin could be there.
Odin.
Loki.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
could be a place where maybe the hammer or the Bifrost could access, and then he could go and speak to his father, or speak to Heimdall, things like that. So yeah, but they'll be opening a lot of can of worms lah. So but we'll see how they do it lah. Okay, so that's basically the entire movie. Of course, it was not absolutely great, but we will take it because it's a Marvel movie. Whatever they can help us move on to the next movie, we will take it. So the biggest question is, so Thor as a franchise, as a movie after this debacle, where do we go from here, guys?
Okay, what's interesting is that both Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth both didn't know that the whole Thor will return is going to come out only during the premiere. The final cut also it wasn't there. No, only during the premiere they got surprised that it was actually there. Like Thor will return. So they both thought that this was the last one. But then Marvel surprised them. I think production crew, Kevin Feige and stuff like that surprised them and said that okay, you know what, we might just do another Thor movie. So I don't know where they will go from here. Could be anything. And I just found out that there was actually a statue of Uatu, the Watcher, in the movie as well. So when we look back into Gor's history, Uatu will die and Thor will actually take revenge with Nick Fury or something like that lah. So maybe they'll go into that direction and then maybe link up with Nick Fury at some point of time. I don't know. I honestly don't know lah. See what you all have to say on your theories.
No, I think I've already said that before. So I think the Thor movies, one of the franchise which I feel should go on is definitely Thor because it has a lot of potential. moving forward. With potential connecting and giving living base and seeding storylines as it goes. Because I think I want to see and like how we get to see Logan become Old Man Logan, right? I would like to see Thor become Rune King Thor. You know, as it goes in the future. Of course, Rune King Thor is much more older, but at least he's getting there towards the ultimate version. And Rune King Thor, maybe you'll see like 10 years down the lane when he does a cameo scene or whatsoever in the storyline. So I want to see that happen. I want to see him as it goes. And then, of course, later on, maybe as Rune King Thor. Because his story carries a lot of potential for the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now we have gods. I think without Thor, we wouldn't have gotten the access to gods, the essence of it. So that, how to say, moving plotline of it. You know, so he has the potential to carry this franchise further a bit more in depth, I would say. So, and this interesting thing is they said that Thor will return, you know, but never say Thor will return where or whatsoever, such things, you know. So, you know, probably maybe in other people's movies as cameos, and then maybe as it goes, as his franchise probably pop up again, kind of thing. So yeah.
So we will have more of Thor, and hopefully there'll be some redemption in his character arc, and you know, to build back that love for Thor, you know. So yeah, that's it for the whole movie and everything, and you know, post-credit scenes and things like that. So we wanted to do a breakdown, but then we thought it would be a quite waste of time for us to do a breakdown. So we just thought we just review the whole movie, and yeah, even reviewing the whole movie took quite some time. So yeah, all right. So other than that, so please go and watch Thor: Love and Thunder. It's out on DinesyPlus Hotstar, so you can watch it and rewatch it. I don't know why you would want to rewatch it, but you can, right? And of course, don't forget to catch more episodes of She-Hulk that's coming out. You know, amazing stories on there. I think it's much more fun watching She-Hulk than was watching Thor. And yeah, so there's many more things that Marvel have planned. Or Disney has planned, not just for Marvel but for other things. So we will be putting out a video on what was the announcements at D23, and you know, that encompasses Star Wars and Marvel movies, and then other you know, animations and things like that. So do catch that video that will be out sometime in the next week, that we will be releasing. So yeah, do like and subscribe to our channel to make sure you get up to date with all the videos and all of our renting and our honest reviews. So we are here not to give you any, we're not paid by anyone to give you good. If you like it, we like it. We don't like it, means we don't like it, right? So we give you all of our honest feelings and reviews for whatever that we watch. Also, please do follow us on Instagram and Facebook at thegeekstreet.my. We'll be posting you know, content like things like if you can't, you know, release a video about certain things, announcements, you know, and things like that, we'll be posting it on Facebook and Instagram. So do follow us, and also share with your friends, you know, who are Marvel or, you know, anything to do with Disney basically, right? And also please do join our Discord community. We have a lot of good discussions, and we share a lot of things. And you know, if you can't get more, or if you want more of our renting, come on Discord and we will rent with you, right? So we release our frustration together in the chat, right? Yeah, so that's it from us, guys, and till next time, this is the Geek Street, and the street has spoken. Bye bye. Ciao.